No, it's definitely been a lot of hard work over the last couple of months that has gone into making this whole deal come together. Especially, I would say it's a very different round of funding than our previous rounds, because it brings in really one of the three really big global tech brands on the table as partners with Flipkart. So it does not just bring capital, it actually brings a lot of new opportunities.
Do you feel a sense of relief that, after so much of pressure and speculation, it's finally come through?
No, I think if I look at the overall performance over the last 2-3 quarters at Flipkart, I think we have come a long way. I think over the last 3 quarters, we have really proven that we can execute in a way that we improve customer experience, growth, get the growth momentum back, and also improve margins all at the same time. I think that has created tremendous confidence in the entire organization, and that obviously created a lot of confidence in the investors as well. So I think it's a double delight in that way, that business is really getting into really good shape across all portfolio companies. So whether it's Flipkart, Myntra and Jabong, or it is PhonePe. And I think with the round coming together, it really gives us a great platform to build on top of over the next 10 years. This is the 10th year of Flipkart. So I think in 10 years we've come a long way.
Right.
And
from 1 million in 2009 to 1.4 billion in 2017.
In 2017, yeah. So I think over the next 10 years, I think this is a great platform to build on top of.
And in terms of, the absorption of eBay India, was that sort of necessary for this, investment to come through from eBay? From what I understand, they're infusing, I think, $500 million dollars, and in return, they're getting 200 million worth of, Flipkart stock. So what value will this eBay India really add, considering, they have been struggling themselves, I think, for more than a decade now? So was it, necessary for this deal to?
So the eBay partnership and the eBay fund and the funding from eBay is really a very strategic, has a very strategic lens to it, right? So we are really excited about the partnering with them, because we see a big opportunity in the cross-border.
Yeah, the cross-border trade agreement.
So what that will allow is for lakhs of Indian sellers to be able to sell their products globally, right, to global customer base, because Flipkart has a big seller base. Flipkart has huge capabilities of adding sellers onto the marketplace, whether it's our Indian marketplace or a global marketplace, right?
Binny, if I look at Flipkart today, I mean, it's being very acquisitive, and it's a sum of so many things. It's Myntra plus Jabong plus eBay India. It could be plus something else in a few weeks. So, where is Flipkart in all this? The core culture, value. How difficult is it going to be for you to really integrate all this? Because people are talking about technology integration, operational integration, even from a cultural perspective. So, how difficult is that going to be for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the way we look at it is as follows. So if you look at Myntra, right, we acquired, Myntra was our sort of biggest acquisition so far, and we acquired it 3 years back. And the reason why we acquired Myntra was that it was actually a very different business than what Flipkart was, right? And it had very different customer base, and it had a very different culture as a company, right? So and that was the reason we acquired it, and that is the reason we have kept it separate as well, right? We have not tried to integrate anything of Myntra, and we've consciously let the culture thrive. If you look at PhonePe, again, it was a very small team, right? A very new business. So we wanted to build a startup-like atmosphere, and again, it's been kept separate, and they've been allowed to really work in a way that any startup would work.
Right.
Right. And work as a small team and really grow in an exponential manner, right?
I will not be forgiven if I don't ask you this question, but tell us what we can expect as far as Snapdeal is concerned, because so much of speculation doing the rounds. Will I meet you in a week or 2 weeks to talk about that?
Yeah, though we can't comment on all the market speculation. I think you guys will sort of need to wait and watch.
Okay, but never say never. Wait and watch. The other thing, Binny, that I wanted to ask you about was, if you look at Amazon, it's much more than e-commerce. They have, web services. They're doing video streaming. I mean, they keep adding more services, right? So where will Flipkart's core strengths be? I mean, to take on an Amazon, will you have to add more services going forward? Now, you have e-commerce, you have fashion, you have payments, but what else do you potentially see adding in the future to really take on Amazon, more revenue and more importantly, more profit streams going forward?
I think the way we are looking at the market is less from a competitive point of view, more from what we bring to the table and where can we really win, right? So if you look at our business today, we are really winning in three large categories of mobile phones, large appliances, and fashion, right? So that's the view of the business today, and we want to continue to really grow these businesses and get them to free cash flow positive over the next 12 to 24 months. And if you look at the businesses of the future, right, we are going to invest heavily in areas like grocery, furniture, right, private labels. And a good part of the investment is also going to go into PhonePe, scaling up PhonePe operations, and our other fintech ambitions.
So the current fundraise, a large portion of it will go into these?
In the new portfolios. And also, I think a couple of other areas of, one, just improving customer experience overall, really delivering faster, having better selection across the board. And secondly, investing heavily into capabilities around automation and AI.
Right. And in terms of management structure, are you in a place where you feel that, this is a stable structure, say, for the next 3-4 years? Because we've had, I think, 3 CEOs in the last 3 years. But going forward, is this a more stable management structure for Flip?
Yeah, I think I feel that we are now in a place where we can take a long-term view on the business and the organization as well. I think we have a great leadership team in place.
Right. Last couple of questions, Binny. Many people are saying that this is the final round of funding before IPO. So will we see Flipkart perhaps getting listed on NASDAQ in a couple of years?
There are no specific plans there. I think for now the team is just heads down now, focused on, for the next 2 years, on executing on the agenda I just talked about. And I think we don't want to get distracted by anything else right now.
Right. But in terms of the big picture, if you look at the India internet market, is it now becoming, a global battle being fought for the Indian turf? I mean, you have Amazon versus Alibaba versus, Flipkart plus Tencent, people are calling it a Mahagatbandhan, so to speak. So, is it going to be this three-way fight going forward as far as the Indian market is concerned?
I think, as I said, market is really big, right? The opportunity is to go from 2% of the market to 20% of the market. So, and it's been 10 years since we started, but it still seems like early days, like 2% to 20%. There's still a lot to do over the next 10 years. So whether it'll be 2 players or 5 players or 10 players, I think there's a lot to still happen. And what we know is that where we want to play and how we want to win.
In terms of, payments you mentioned will be a big focus, but will it just be a mode of payment for Flipkart, or, payments is so much more? I mean, Paytm has thrived on just payments, and Tencent is huge in this space. So do you see payments becoming a big business on its own going forward? How do you really see the future of payments?
Yeah, I think the opportunity is definitely there on the payment side, becoming a big business on its own, right? And I think the Flipkart part of it is just sort of a start, so as to speak, right? That is just a start. If you look at even the business today, actually a large part of the business comes from people sending money to each other on PhonePe through the UPI platform, right? And actually PhonePe is probably upwards of 40% of all UPI transactions in the country. Right?
Do you think this will also help other startups perhaps close rounds of funding? People have been waiting forever for a signal from Flipkart. So do you think the ecosystem effect, the domino effect will be huge as a result of this?
I think we've seen that in the past as well. So overall, from an ecosystem standpoint, this is also a very key event because last 3-4 months, I think there's been the overall narrative has been a little bit negative on the whole ecosystem, so morale has been low, and we are really hoping that this
Changes
is sort of an
the-
inflection point and can change the morale, because it's very, very important.
Finally, Binny, how are you celebrating this big event?
We had cake for everyone in the company yesterday, and I think the biggest joy for us is that we can sort of get back to focus on our customers and our employees.
Great. Thank you so much for talking
Thank
to
you.
us, Binny. Thank you.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.